Ramana talks about the I thought, and he also talks about the I. And is there a difference? What's going on there? So the I thought, this is my interpretation. It could be that he's using the word I in different ways, at different times, in different places. But the I thought is a thought. It's a movement. It's an appearance. It's a phenomenal appearance, a part of the content of consciousness, part of the content of awareness, part of Maya, that which moves. I like, instead of using the word I thought, I like to talk about it as the I concept sometimes. The I concept, the me concept, the concept of an individual me, a person. The concept I am the body mind. This is the I thought. It's the concept, the self-concept you have that I'm a limited entity. I'm a body mind entity. The I concept, the I thought. Ramana says this is the first thought that rises. And all other thoughts depend on this first prime thought. So in this way, this one thought, the I thought, is the root thought. This root thought comes up first, and then all other thoughts arise thereafter. And if you contemplate this, it makes sense. And then there's the I, which is what you really are. I is the name of the self. Now, the self is actually beyond all name, has no name, and beyond all form. In Sanskrit, the word for name is nama. The word for form is rupa. So nama rupa means name and form. And what you are, what you really are, is beyond name and form. It's nameless, formless. When you think you're a body-mind entity, there's still a sense of I. And if you examine that, if you investigate that sense of I, you'll discover the self. So the word I is we can say it's the name of what you are, the name of the self. It's a very useful indication to what you are. If you follow the I, you'll discover the reality, the self, God, Guru. What you are, unlike the I thought, let me just allow Demetrius in. Okay. The I thought is a thought, a movement, an object, an arising phenomenal object. What the true I is nothing that rises or sets. It's the self, it's the subject, it's the eternal. It's beyond time and space. It doesn't arise, it doesn't set, has no characteristics, no objective qualities, but it is what we are. And it's always known to us because it's what we are. It's known to us because it's our very being. And it's not known by the mind, it's just innately known without the need for body mind. So that's how I'd interpret the I thought versus the true I. But whatever you take yourself to be, whether you take yourself to be a body mind, whether you take yourself to be something else, a larger entity, smaller entity, whatever you take yourself to be. Maybe you think you're God, maybe you think you're spirit, whatever you think yourself to be. If you investigate the I, if you think you're a body mind and you investigate the sense of me, the sense of I, the subject, and you take your attention and attend to that earnestly, it will reveal what you are, the self. So this name of the self being I is a very potent clue. Even though ultimately what you are has no name, Ramana teaches the name of the self, of what the reality of God is actually I. Now in Indian languages, I believe in most Indian languages, the verb to be is not always said out loud. So you sometimes in many sentences, you won't use the verb to be, it'll be implied. So I also means I am. So the verb to be, I am, you are, he, she, or it is. This is the verb to, this is the English verb to be. Many Indian languages, and I believe this is the case in Tamil as well, the verb to be is not always said in a sentence. So the word, the personal pronoun I also means I, or it means I am. So we can say we can attend to the I, or we can attend to the I am. It's the same thing. It's the same essential meaning. But you'll see translations in English. Sometimes it'll say I. Sometimes it'll say, in Ramana's writing, you'll see I. And that can be translated as, in Tamil, nan, I, nan in Tamil. That can be translated as I. It can be translated as I am I. Or it can be translated as I am. Or it can be translated as I am that I am. Or something like that, you see? It's got that sense to it. All those meanings are implied and pregnant within that phrase, nan. All those multiple meanings. So it's just that sense of me, of subjectivity. Because I am the subject. Taking it back to our daily experience, all of us have if we consider ourselves to be a body-mind entity, if we're ignorant, if we consider ourselves to be a human being, we have a sense of me, of I, and we always have a sense that there's one of me, and I'm the subject. And then I am observing and experiencing a whole variety of objects, gross objects and subtle objects. Gross objects being the ones that we would ordinarily say are perceived through the five senses. The subtle objects are the mental objects, emotions, thoughts, feelings, also spiritual experiences, altered states of consciousness, highs, lows. These are the subtle objects. So gross and subtle objects, you've got lots of them, apparently. And there's one subject. That one subject is called I, or me. And if we investigate that, we discover the self. One other thing I'll say is the I thought, which is the concept I'm the body mind, concept of the me. Ramana says it's the first thought. Remember I said that earlier. So all other thoughts require that thought. So if you think to yourself, oh, I need to do some shopping. Oh, I need to do some shopping. I need to go to the supermarket, buy some food, buy some groceries. Before you can have that thought, you first have to have the idea or concept of I am a body mind. First, the first concept that underlies I want to go shopping is I'm a body mind entity. I'm a person, I'm a human being, and I need to go shopping, you see? And every one of our thoughts is like that. It first relies on an assumption or a belief that I'm a body mind. If you say to somebody, I hate you, you're saying, first you're saying, I'm a body mind entity and I hate you. And I, the body mind, hate you. Another body mind in this case. So all these sentences have the word I in them already, don't they? Like, I want to go shopping. I hate you. You know, I like strawberries. What you're saying is, I'm a body mind entity, and I, the body mind entity, like strawberries. Or don't like strawberries, whatever the case is. There are other sentences we think which don't have the word I in them, but they too imply I. You might say, it's cold outside. But you're saying that from the point of view as a body mind entity. You're saying, I'm a body mind entity and I think it's cold outside. So all our thoughts are like this. You might say, I want liberation. I want enlightenment. I want to know the truth. I want to know the secret of life. I want to know, is there a God? What's the common factor, Ramana says? Ramana says, I want to know God. I want to know enlightenment. I want to know the truth. I, you see? And he says, rather than going off and following these thoughts and trying to discover God, trying to discover enlightenment, you see, I'm doing my hand, I'm going outward with my hand, this gesture to indicate something. I want to know God. I want to discover what God is. I want to read a book on spirituality. I want to go to a satsang and find something out. I want to hear what this teacher has to say about this. I. He says, no, this is the wrong path. You can do that if you, when he says wrong path, you can do it. There's no judgment implied. You can do it if you want, but it just won't work. It's not effective. It won't give you what you're looking for. So instead of going out and saying, I want to know what God is, I want to discover the truth, you have made an assumption. When you say, I want liberation, I want to discover the truth, I want to know God, is there a God? There's an assumption underlying your thought, your question. Your question is a thought. That question, that assumption is, you think you're a body mind. You're saying, I, the body mind, want to discover liberation. I, the body mind, want to discover X, Y, and Z. I, the body mind, want to go to the cinema. But Ramana says, you've made an assumption. It's like standing on top of a box. You've taken a stand on top of this box, which has got big letters on it saying ego, the ego box. So you've gone onto this platform. You stood up onto this platform called ego, and you're taking yourself to be the body mind entity, which is what I mean by ego. And then you're trying to do these things. And Ramana says, are you a body mind entity? So rather than going outwards and seeking these things, go back. Is there an I? There isn't. And when you go back and attend backwards, as it were, towards a subject, you discover the truth of I. So this is why it's a very important teaching he gives us, very important clue when he says, all other thoughts are strung upon the I thought. The I thought is the first thought. This is a very important teaching. He gives it right towards the beginning of Who Am I, the text Who Am I he wrote. Why does he tell this to us? In that very short text, Who Am I, almost every sentence is of vital importance. If you haven't, make a study of it. Every line has a meaning. Why does he tell us that the I thought is the first thought and all other thoughts come afterwards? Why is this important to know? It's because if you understand that, that is the root. You attack the root, the whole tree comes down. You don't attack the root, the tree of suffering, the tree of samsara keeps on sprouting. The tree of ego, the tree of maya keeps on sprouting, keeps coming back. You know, why does it keep on coming back? I had that wonderful experience, wonderful peaceful experience, wonderful enlightenment experience, wonderful awakening experience. Why does my suffering keep coming back? So when you have a question, Ramana's teachings always try and turn it back. You know? Who wants to know? You want liberation? Who wants liberation? Is he just being funny? Is he just being clever? Who wants to know? Who wants liberation? Is it just a clever quip? He's trying to show you who wants it. You look who? You think you want liberation? Is there a you? Do you want liberation? You go back. You turn your attention back, it goes to the source, merges into the source. You discover what you are. It's like the lion who is bewitched into thinking that he's a sheep. And the lion who thinks he's a sheep is saying, how do I become a lion? How do I become a lion? I'm a sheep. How do I become a lion? And Ramana is saying, are you a sheep? Really? Look and see if you are a sheep first. Before you try and transform yourself into a lion, and of course the lion's already a lion, look and see, what are you? So the teaching is like a mirror, where you can look at yourself. Or they encourage you to look at yourself. Is that okay as an answer, Ginny?
That was fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Great.
You're welcome. But I know it was a rather long answer. I do often do that. I often give quite long answers to relatively simple questions. But I do want you to, I do want to come back to you and say, is there, because you asked the question, is there something that is not cleared up? Because I think when I give a long answer, sometimes people think, okay, that's a great answer, I'll shut up now. I don't want to take up any more time. But I do want to know, is there anything else? Is that a good answer for you? Does that answer your query? Or
Yeah, in the sense that the thinking about it doesn't happen anymore. It dropped into my intuition now. So my brain can't really wrestle with it anymore. It's just quiet.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I think what Julie was saying is that my mini little discourse put her mind to sleep there. I think that's what she was saying. Is that right?
Yeah, in a good way.
In a good way. Good.
Just the mind, not the whole body.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. Thank you. Thank you for your question.